Okay. Well, if everyone can hear me, I'm going to get started. So my name is Greg Hawks. I'm with MD Anderson. I've been here at MD Anderson for probably about eight to 9 months. I actually came from an engineering. Well, I used to come from Insperity, so that was a RPO, and I was more on the engineering side of things. So I'm always been a big fan of sourcing. I've been sourcing the last 3 to 4 years, and so it's a great opportunity for me to show you some of the things that I took from SourceCon when I went there and heard some of the presentations there. So I'm just gonna dive right into my presentation here. Okay. So we are looking to find the elusive purple squirrel. Um, some takeaways that I got from attending SourceCon. Um, so just on the overall agenda, what I'm going to be doing today is going over the state of sourcing, doing a quick Boolean overview because some of the tools that I'm going to show you today, it requires a little bit of Boolean syntax. So hopefully I'll be able to relay that information to you and go over just some of the details in regards to that. So So, in regards to the state of sourcing, what's happening nowadays is that sourcing in general is becoming more and more relevant in day-to-day recruiting. If you've seen any of the recruiter job postings or any job postings or vacancy reports, you see more and more sourcing becoming more ingrained into the job description. If you're looking for a full cycle recruiter, they're looking more for those kind of headhunter skills as well as being able to manage a full desk. And as technology is advancing, it's making Boolean searching much easier. So it was interesting to see some of the sites like Monster, Career Builder, LinkedIn. Indeed, they're all moving towards aggregation and finding different ways to make keyword searching easier. And speaking of advancing technologies, SourceHub and some other X-ray sites like Recruitum are becoming more and more relevant and becoming more and more popular with recruiters and sourcers with the day to day. And we're still having trouble with audio. Okay. Let me see if I can fix the audio for some of you. Is everybody having trouble with audio? Okay, well, I'll continue since some people can hear me and some people can't. It looks like if you dial in via internet or phone, you'll be able to hear the presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. So, like I said, sourcing is becoming more relevant. Uh, tech, like I said, technology advancing is making sourcing easier. And just here at MD Anderson, what we're seeing a lot of different different market aspects happening. The unemployment rate is dropping here in Texas, especially in the healthcare realm. So our hospitals are getting more and more competitive. So we're moving away from the old school post and pray mentality to the go get 'em mentality. So for the first time in several years, we've had to start reaching out and engaging candidates, and we didn't used to have to do that sort of thing in the past. So the tide is changing in that respect, and sourcing just in general is becoming more relevant across the board. Thanks, Deborah. So the other thing is that I wanted to go over a little bit of Boolean because it is required for some of these tools that we'll be using. So you can pretty much X-ray any site by the syntax site colon website name.com or org or edu. Um, but depending on which site you're going to X-raying, it can be a little bit. It can be a little bit. You might have to use some different syntax. So, for instance, when you looking at LinkedIn, you put in site colon linkedin.com and then your Boolean string, and you can pretty much target an X-ray that site and pull up a list of different results. And I know LinkedIn is doing some strange stuff right now with some of their algorithms. So when I did this search recently, I pulled up a bunch of top lists, which is you typically use different syntax to get that. So you might have to enter dash top or dash job, which tells Google to not search for those aspects. The other thing is, okay, so we're still having trouble with audio. I apologize for that. The number, if you're having trouble dialing in, there should be a number listed on the invite. So I apologize for that, the problems with the audio. So you can also use this technique to look for Zoom info, to look through SlideShare, which some of you may or might not have heard of. SlideShare is where LinkedIn keeps their slides and their resumes. It's a good way using this string below to find a full resume out there if somebody's attached it to their LinkedIn profile. And here is the result of the Google search using the syntax that I demonstrated with a site.linkedin.com. Another tool that I wanted to show you today was called SourceHub. SourceHub is created by Social Talent. It's a Boolean string builder. It also is a one-stop shop for X-raying various sites. It's a great resource. It works best in Firefox or Google Chrome. And this is a site that you do have to register and create a login. So there's a little bit of an issue with there if you're trying to use the Internet Explorer to register for this. So the it's pretty basic as far as searching. You enter job title, skills, location. You can enter several skills, and you can see through the screenshot that it builds you a full keyword search, a full Boolean string with a full list of keywords that you may not have thought of in the past. So and you can also use it to X-ray these various sites. So standard LinkedIn, you can X-ray LinkedIn, which is a great feature because anyone who doesn't have a recruiter seat, you typically hit your commercial limit pretty fast as far as views. So using the X-ray, it brings you up that list in Google, so you can just right click and look at various profiles. You can also search Twitter, Google Plus, Kaggle, GitHub. They have a full list here that you can just click on the button when you're in the database, and it pulls the information pretty easily. So as I said, you can click on Google X-ray or LinkedIn X-ray, and it pulls you a list of different people with that using that Boolean string. You can also take that Boolean string and plug it into Indeed. You can plug it into some different job boards like Career Builder. I've used that technique a lot in Career Builder. And that way you're not building your Boolean string from scratch. And even if you do like Boolean syntax, it can also identify some additional keywords that you might not have thought about. So as I said, you can look through LinkedIn directly. You can X-ray LinkedIn, X-ray Google Plus, all with a click of a button. It's a pretty insightful tool. Now, some other sites that you might not have heard about is Recruitum, SourceBreaker. I've used to use SourceBreaker a lot because you didn't require a login. I tried to do a test run just a few minutes ago, and it looks like you do have to register, and there might be a fee. But I did like that because it was a free resource, but I don't know if that's the case anymore. Recruitum is a free resource, and also SourceHub is also a free resource. So I actually have Recruitum up, and I wanted to show you guys what that looks like because it's got some different fields. So this is what Recruitum looks like. So you'll have some different ways to search. I like the fact that it has location or keywords and keywords to exclude, but it has the same type of result. You can X-ray LinkedIn, X-ray Google Plus, GitHub, and Bing, and Stack Overflow, which is another IT site. Um, a great resource as well. I've had success with both SourceHub and Recruitum, so I suggest you take a look at both of these sites and see if they can help you. Now, one of the biggest takeaways from Jim Stroud's presentation, uh, he used some simple search strings to pull contact information. I thought it was a great resource and uh, just a great way of going about changing up your keyword search to get some pretty cool results. Um, by putting an email me, call me, phone me, call my mobile, you can pull direct contact information with with by pairing this with a job title. It's actually pretty effective uh, now that I've tested it out. Um, and so it's pretty cool to see the result. A lot of people will put their contact information on websites, on their company websites, out there on their blogs, out there uh, in areas that you may not have pulled them from. So it's a good resource to uh, uh, combine some of these concepts and build a master string just to look for contact information. I have an example here in the bottom. I was looking for a clinical nurse leader, and we were having some trouble finding somebody. Uh, we looked on LinkedIn. We sent out several emails, but what we really needed was straight contact information, somebody that we can call. So with that in mind, using some of these techniques, we were able to find some candidates this way, and it's just a different way of thinking. But the biggest thing that I enjoyed uh, learning about when I was at SourceCon was the Google custom search engines. So these are sites that you can, or these are basically you build your own search engine, and you can put a lot of that syntax that we previously talked about on the front end, build these out so that you don't have to know the specific context or specific syntax to X-ray LinkedIn or X-ray Zoom Info or any of these sites. So I've built probably about 4 or 5, um, and it takes a little bit of knowing some of how to build them on the front end, and I dabble with it a little bit, but I never really was able to use it as effectively as until after Johnny Campbell's presentation. So with that said, you could take a look at some of these that I've built. Um, for instance, this Google search engine is one that X-rays LinkedIn. I'm looking for mechanical engineer, and one of the cool aspects about this engine is that you can build this with several different tabs or several different areas. So it helps you focus uh, your search in various aspects. Now there's some work to do on the front end to get it here, but it's helped out my team a lot because a lot of the team that I work with, they don't really have a lot of uh, Boolean syntax knowledge, so it's helped them out on the front end to really identify some candidates quickly. So as you can see from this contact tab, I've got that master string that I had showed you guys a little bit earlier, and it's pulling contact information for these folks on LinkedIn. So I've got his email here. I've got a direct phone number up at the top, so I can call this guy directly if I need to and maybe ask for referrals or ask if he's interested in a job. And after I go through some of this, I'll take some of your questions. I will have some time to do that. And I've also built one for Zoom Info and also one for Google Plus. And Irana from Brain Gain, she has a list of her own that I found extremely effective and useful in my own sourcing and searching. So I wanted to share these items with you and see if they could help help you out in your searches. So, do you have any questions? I know somebody had mentioned that they're looking for the string that I used. I can actually X out of here and show you going into detail about it. Let me see if I've got it up. So if you're looking for the string, and I will share these slides after the call, yes, ma'am.